What's up everyone? I'm Ashley and this is Ashley Talks Movies. Welcome to my channel. New video for you today. I'm going to be doing a review of Dave Franco's The Rental. Actually had an opportunity to watch it, and so I'm going to share my thoughts about that. But before I do me a favor, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos, and also hit that notification bell so you get notified every time a new video is posted. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I had an opportunity to watch Dave Franco's new film, The Rental. It's his directorial debut, and he co-wrote the script with Joe Swanberg. The film stars Alison, Brie, Dan Stevens, Sheila and Jeremy Allen White. And it's basically about this group of friends who decide that they need a weekend away, so they rent this beautiful home near the ocean. They plan to have fun, but things don't go quite as planned, of course, and something sinister starts to happen. And so I read that premise and I thought, ooh, that sounds really good. And so I watched the trailer and I thought, ooh, this looks really good. And then I watched the movie and I was like, oh, it's not that good. Sorry. I think my biggest problem with this film is that, it's being billed as sort of a horror film. And don't get me wrong, there are horror elements in this film. But to me, after watching it, this film is more than anything a character-driven drama. The first half of this movie is so dialogue heavy, and you're spending a majority of your time getting to know these characters. You get to know who they are, their backstories, past relationships, all these things, building up to what I guess should have been eventually like a payoff for all of that, because you're learning all this stuff about these characters, which was fine, which was interesting, but it slowed things down for me because, again, you're spending a lot of time with them just talking to each other. They're sitting at the table, they're talking, they're having dinner, they're talking, they're going on hikes, they're talking. There's a lot of talking, there's a lot of talking, there's a lot of talking, a lot of information is revealed to you, and that's fine, but I kept waiting for something to happen. And then, of course, there is the moment in the film where, something does happen. There's that shift, right? Where it's like, oh my goodness, are we being watched? And I thought, okay, now things are getting interesting. Now it's about to get good. But again, the payoff wasn't quite there. As far as the story goes, it's an interesting concept. This idea that, you rent this vacation home or you rent an Airbnb and, someone is watching you. And voyeurism is a big theme in this movie. It doesn't do a great job with it, to be honest. I mean, to me, that's a terrifying thing. You go on vacation. You're supposed to, throw your worries and troubles away and just have fun and relax. And then you find out that you're being watched. That's a terrifying thing to happen. But the film doesn't do a great job with tackling that. So as far as the story, the concept is great. The execution is what needed work. And I feel like if there had been a stronger script, that would not have been a problem. There's a lot of moments in this movie where, the typical sort of horror movie music plays and it swells and you're like, okay, something bad's about to happen. And then, of course, something bad happens. And it's just kind of sprinkled throughout there. And it was almost like they forgot that that's what they were going for. And then oh yeah, throw a jump scare in there. Oh yeah, put that music in there. The abrupt ending of this movie, I think, bothered me the most. Again, building up and building up and building up. There's not a lot of tension in this movie, which is a shame. Again, if you're doing sort of this horror movie, you need to build tension. I didn't feel a lot of tension in this movie. And so when you get to those moments where you should be scared, you should be terrified, you should be shocked, I wasn't, because it hadn't built up to that yet. And then you get to the ending, which just kind of goes off the rails, and then it just ends. It abruptly ends. And I felt like I didn't have the necessary resolution for it. In terms of the characters, I mean, majority of them are unsympathetic. I didn't really care about what happened to them. The one exception is Alison Brie's character. I actually liked her character, and I thought, I cared about what happened to her. I thought Alison Brie did the best job out of everyone in terms of acting. And her character has some funny moments that surprisingly work in this film. considering it is more of a drama with some elements thrown in there. The few intentional funny moments in this movie are delivered by her, and they work. There are some unintentional funny moments in this movie, I think mostly because at times the premise is a bit silly, the dialogues need some work, and you kind of chuckle, not because it's supposed to be funny, but because it's kind of ridiculous. I feel like this movie isn't as compelling as it would like to be, which is a shame. The trailer for this movie really builds up this idea that there's going to be this very, very present terror during this weekend trip. Like, they're going to be dealing with this very sinister presence throughout. And they do deal with that at some point in the movie, but by the time it gets to there, I was pretty bored. I could make a joke about how I wouldn't recommend you rent the rental, but I'm not going to do that. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the movie, on the rental. If you saw the movie, let me know what you think about the movie in the comment section below. While you're here, like this video, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe.